Hi everyone and welcome to today's episode. So I am still here at Port Bannatyne, and after the dramas of the last few days and last couple of episodes, it's time to get back on the horse and head out and start doing a bit more sailing. So plan for today is, rough plan, head out, go south around the bottom of the Isle of Bute, up the other side, and end up tonight anchoring in I think it's called St Ninians Bay, but it's just off Inchmarnock Island. It's a big old open bay. Wind should be good for it to be sheltered there. I think it's easterly for the next day or so, and then we're about a few hours from Talbot, which we'll probably need to go and reprovision at the next few days. But yeah, so I'm gonna have one more coffee because I had a few celebratory beers last night, and so I'm still a little bit slow. So I want to sort of get a bit of a caffeine infusion to speed me up, and then we'll throw off the lines and we'll head on out. So we're on our way. The first time I've ever left a marina on my own without someone to help the ropes. Didn't crash into anything, so take that as a win. Okay, so engine's off. Just going to run on the head sail for a little bit, just because the winds are a bit, I don't know, gusty and changeable, and I'm a bit of a wuss. Plus, it's so much easier to run the head sail than manage the main sail. Once I get clear and I'm heading in a consistent line, I might have a play with the main sail. But yeah, ticking along about 4 knots. Wind is about, I don't know, going that way. And yeah, this rate ETA is about 4 o'clock, so that'll be alright if we can continue at this pace. Yeah, we'll settle in and see how we go. Making pretty decent progress, so 4.5 knots, pretty much straight on course. So yeah, we got 13.7 nautical miles to go, so we've done about 4 so far. And yeah, the weather is, it's trying to be miserable, but then there's sort of hopeful brightness over there, so yeah, hopefully it'll stay. It's a bit drizzly right now, but it's not too bad. But yeah, no, it's so far so good. Nice little sail so far. Okay, so we are nearing the point. Unfortunately, just as I've got here, the wind has completely died, which is kind of annoying because I say I've been really pushing along nicely. I let the sail out. I've still got the blue wuss line on. Not sure what to do yet. I think we might drift on a little bit this way if we can. Hope the wind comes back a bit, and then we'll head a bit further south and hopefully get a decent line just to turn onto the opposite tack and and head up the other side of the island. But yeah, so far a bit wet and drizzly, but not a bad sail. So we're making good progress, flying along right now, about 6.5 knots. Just, yeah, perfect conditions. Fingers crossed it stays like this. 40 minutes now. I'm just, I've gone round the bottom of the Isle of Bute, and we're heading up the west side of it now. It's kind of confusing. I've never been down here before. We've got 3 miles from here to the sort of the next point, headland, whatever you want to say, and that is pretty much in line with Inchmarnock Islands. So once we get there, we're pretty much there. So ETA is about 35 minutes if we continue at 7 knots now. Exciting. Yeah, so far it's been pretty nice. We've made it. We are in St Ninians Bay, I believe it is. It's a nice little anchorage. It's not the most sheltered. The wind is coming from the land side, which means it should be okay, but it's quite flat, this part of the island, so it doesn't really shelter you from the wind, but the wind is meant to be dying down the next couple of hours, so it should be a relatively peaceful night here. So I'm going to settle down. I got the heating on. I'm going to dry out a bit because I'm pretty damp. I'm going to chill out for the rest of the evening. So I've just left St Ninians Bay. Had a pretty decent night. The wind died off as predicted, and it was quite a calm night, to be fair. And it's been quite sunny so far today. It's mid-afternoon because I've actually had some work to do. I've been on a conference call this morning, so I wasn't able to leave this morning. But I've just pulled up the anchor and we're just on our way now, heading up to Loch Fyne. I got a friend in tow, you might be able to see behind me. They turned up this morning for lunch, but they've actually just snagged their anchor, so they've had to leave their anchor on a fender, so hopefully they can retrieve that at some point. So we're nicely potting along on the head sail. I do want to get the main out, but my stalker is behind me, and they've just gone on the outside and we put their sails up, and I need to turn into the wind, so I'd have to cut across them in order to put my sails up. Although having said that, they look like they're going to cut the corner on me, so I think I might be able to get away with this. So let's give it a go, shall we?
Okay, well that went pretty well, apart from the fact that I started ending up the wrong lock, but once I figured out which lock I was heading towards, went smoothly. I've still got the slightly scared reef in, so yeah, we'll see how we get on like this, but so far so good. I didn't crash into my stalker.
We've just entered the mouth of Loch Fyne, or more or less. It's got to be honest, it's a really beautiful sail, particularly if I'm not in a rush. You probably see wind turbine isn't moving because it's that little wind, but we're still doing, hopefully you'll be able to see, maybe not. Yeah, but we're still doing 3.1 ish knots. I must say this boat sails really nicely. We've got about an hour 20 minutes at this pace, but obviously it just depends. We could lose the wind altogether. I think it was about an hour and 20 minutes when I left Inchmarnock, so obviously we slowed down quite a bit, but I'm not in a rush. This is very pleasurable, so I'm happy just to drift along on the wind, maybe catch some mackerel for dinner. That'd be pretty nice. And yeah, and we'll get there at some point this evening. I'll have a bit of food and then I'll call it a night, so I'll pick it back up once we get closer. No fish today, sadly. We're just coming into anchor. We're going to try and set up just somewhere in front here. There's a nice little you can see there's a nice little 7-8 meter spot right there, which we can get slap in the middle of this. That'll be pretty nice. Got the whole bay to myself, which is nice. And you can see it's a beautiful bay. So this is one of my favourite anchorages, certainly favourite anchorage we've ever found on Loch Fyne. You know, starting to drop off. This looks like a really beautiful spot. I'm pretty sure it's fairly sandy on the shore floor here. We have anchored here before, so yeah, there's our 10 meters. Trust the autopilot to hold it for a second, and we'll go and throw the anchor in. Just see, actually. Oh yeah, perfect. We stopping? Oh, quite. There we go. Now we've stopped. Now we've stopped. So we're going into the wind, so we would have stopped anyway, but this is perfect spot, I think. Okay, so we are anchored. First time I try and film anchoring, and it's the worst job. I know it actually caught me almost losing all the chain over the side. Well, not really, it was tied up, but basically losing control of the chain, shall we say. But yeah, I got in, took a couple of goes. First time I settled down, I was about 3.5 meter depth, and I'm probably sitting on about 1.5 meters of tide right now, and that for me is a bit close for comfort. I find, to be honest, like anchoring on your own, I don't have a windlass or anything, so I can't just stand here and press a button to drop the anchor. I have to go up there and physically do it. So obviously I can't be here driving the boat and there dropping the anchor at the same time. And it's one of those weird things that when it's really still and calm, I find it quite difficult to anchor because I rely on the wind to sort of push the boat away and lead the chain out, where they can't do that. But then on the flip side of that, once you're anchored, A, you're not going to go anywhere if there's no wind, or probably not going to go anywhere, and B, it'll be a really peaceful evening. So I'll take the little bit of stress of extra stress of anchoring over having a really nice peaceful sleep. But yeah, it's meant to be pretty still winds tonight, pretty sheltered. So here we are. I'll give you a quick purvey of my bedroom for tonight. Like I say, it is a really lovely anchorage, this. Just beautiful. So I think I'm going to wrap this episode up. We've had a good couple of days of travelling and sailing, visiting some couple of spots. Went below the south side of the Isle of Bute, which is the first time I've done that, which was really nice. And I've got to be honest, it's been a real pickup after the sort of propeller issues in the last few episodes. You know, I was at a real low up there, not only in terms of just, you know, scared of how I was going to get myself out of there and all that sort of stuff, but also, you know, it was really kicking my confidence for sailing and this whole trip and everything like that. And I was just, one of my many fears of that time was, you know, am I going to hate sailing at the end of this experience, you know? But actually these last couple of days have shown me that it isn't all bad. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of uncomfortableness, there's some fear, there's all these kind of issues that come along with following this kind of dream. But you know, it does relent and give you some nice experiences that kind of make it all worthwhile. I've got to say, yeah, last couple of days of sailing have certainly G'd me up and has sort of reset my sights and confidence on heading south, getting around the Mull and getting to the beautiful island of Gear. So maybe next episode that's what we'll be focusing on. Weather's looking good for I don't even know what day it is today. I think it's Wednesday today, and I think the weather and tide come together pretty nicely on Saturday or Sunday, I think. So that might be when we go around the Mull. So if you're interested in seeing that and you're interested in following along with all of our adventures, Joe and Skylar will be joining me at some point in the next couple of weeks. Then make sure to like and subscribe and all that. But most of all, guys, I hope very much to see you in the next episode.